Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead, and today we're going to dehydrate chicken. Okay, I have heard, I've done some research on the internet, and I've heard that canned chicken works the best. So that's what we're going to use. I think it's because it's been canned in its own broth. Maybe the reason. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so first things first, I have a strainer in a bowl because I'm going to catch all this wonderful broth and save it for another project. I'm actually going to save it in the fridge so I can skim the fat off of it. Because remember folks, or dehydrating, fat is the enemy. So now we're going to take our strained chicken and we're just going to rinse it off with hot water. I don't actually want it to, you know, come apart into shreds, which some of it will do. And you want to rinse it off with warm to hot water because that will run any fat off that may be clinging to the meat. Okay, like our hamburger, you know, chicken has to be cooked. I did some research. Poached chicken, roasted chicken, boiled chicken, none seems to work well for rehydrating than chicken that has been canned and canned in its own juice. So that's what we're going to use. I'm going to try and keep it from falling apart in strings. So we're going to dice it up fairly fine. Also, like the hamburger, if you're wondering why I'm using my home canned chicken for this project, I often make care parcels for my sons, and I don't get to see them as often as I would like. So if giving them dehydrated instant food is a lot better for me and for them than sending them jars that may or may not come home. Now, yes, my older son always makes sure his jars come home, but my younger son lives farther away, and sending him jars through the mail is just it's a lot of fuss and bother for the simple reason is it's weight, it's glass, and it's liquids, and I'm pretty sure I'd never see my jars again. So dehydrating, I'll show you what I'm doing here. Dehydrating the meat isn't a good alternative. What I've got here is my dehydrator tray, and on them I have the mesh screen. This is so that when it dries, little bits don't fall down. You don't want your chicken any thicker than that. I'm going to say 1/3 of an inch, no more, because you want to make sure it's going to be dry. And this isn't going to be like the freeze-dried chicken you get from those number 10 cans or whatever it is that you get from those other places. This has got no chemicals. The only chemicals this has is the salt that it was canned, the salt broth that it was canned in, and it wasn't a lot. So if you wanted to, you could toss this chicken in a bit of salt. I may actually sprinkle some on just to help with the drying process. And if you get a piece like that, you can just break it because it's really, really fall off the bone tender. But I don't necessarily want to shred it too much either, because I would like him to have pieces in his recipes that I'm going to give him. And yes, folks, I'm going to show you some recipes that I'm going to make with all this dehydrated goodness. So I'm just giving each tray just a touch of salt, because remember, this is going to be instant for instant food packets. So we're not going to add a lot of salt. All right, we're going to put this on the dehydrator at the highest temperature setting. And I would tell you the time, but I don't know. So my hamburger took like 6 hours. This could take 6 to 12 until it is dry and crispy. And here it is. After just a few hours, it's nice and dry and crispy. Awesome. I got to jar this up. And there we go. A jar of dehydrated chicken. Now folks, you can store it You can pack the jar full and put an oxygen absorber in. You can vacuum seal a jar, or you can put it in vacuum seal bags. But please don't ask me how long it'll be shelf stable. I have no idea. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead saying, dehydrated chicken. How handy is that? Take care, bye-bye.